Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Osu Catch World Cup 2024. I'm Snow Leopard here with Toph Daddy, and we're about to see an exciting match between Canada and Latvia. Toph Daddy, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Just came out of the France-Turkey match from about an hour ago, moving into Canada. Latvia, the number 4 seed versus the number 29 seed. Canada, historically a very, very strong catch team with the primary roster that I think most of the catch community will recognize. Latvia, a newer team with a smaller roster, but still managing to qualify and give themselves a chance against Canada today.
Absolutely, yeah. That Canadian roster looking as scary as always. Two of those names are a bit new, but they're players you're familiar with, vv and Wadbot. So Canada looking strong again this year. I think definitely has podium potential. So we'll have to see how Latvia can hold up against that. So it looks like Latvia wins the roll. So we're going to be hopping right into it.
Yeah, they are deciding to pick first and ban second, giving Canada the first ban here. I don't know what I would think of to ban from Canada. Maybe a mixed mod could come out as a ban, or no mod 1, which seems to be a favorite to ban from the high seed teams.
Definitely, yeah. That no mod 1 can always be a bit of a coin flip and consistency play, so super easy for the higher seed teams.
Oh, but no mod 4 getting banned out. The convert pick going away. I mean, this also makes sense to a certain extent. It's a little awkward because Canada had a very strong convert performance in the qualifiers, but when I played through it, there are enough awkward spacing challenges and precision requirements for no mod 4 that you could easily make a bunch of mistakes all in a row, where a team like Latvia, without needing to worry about the high physicality of some of the other picks, could definitely take some kind of advantage out of it.
Yeah, that's what you're going to see from a lot of these high seed teams is they want to ban the maps that are coin flippy or could easily be lost despite the difference in overall skill. So definitely makes sense there. Latvia, I expect them to ban probably double time, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, Latvia in qualifiers was pretty well-rounded. They were strongest on no mod, but they weren't particularly weak on anything.
Yeah, Canada definitely known for their double time, but honestly, a lot of these other mods could also be pretty scary. I'm going to go Hard Rock 2.
That also makes sense, I think, in a certain extent. DT may have been, something that Latvia would want to get rid of because of Canada's strengths in that kind of pool. But Hard Rock 2, with the high precision requirement and the high practice requirement on it, if Latvia doesn't feel like they're strong enough on that high AR, low density type gameplay, then it makes sense for them to get rid of it against a team like Canada, who is going to be pretty much strong at everything.
Absolutely, yeah. Looks like we're going to start out with the mixed mod 1, Berry.
And I think that's about what I expect from Latvia in this case. They might not have this super strong players for each mod individually. Like, they might not have a super strong 3-man roster for the Hard Rock pool, but they can definitely. This is where those low seeds are going to be able to take. One of our players is really good at Hard Rock, and one of our players is really good at Hidden, and just put them in their right selections and give themselves a chance.
Definitely, yeah. Mixed mod is really great for that because that's something even some of the high seed teams struggle with, is having 3 players that are all at that level on a single mod. It can be kind of hard to come by, especially with a limited roster size. So definitely mixed mod coming in clutch for a lot of these teams.
Yeah, and this Mixed Mod 1 in particular has a similar feeling to No Mod 1. I mentioned earlier that a lot of the higher seeded teams are banning out No Mod 1 because of the consistency, common for players to not want to go through the longer maps that have a lot more opportunity for breaks, but are still physically on the easier side for teams to keep up with. And out of the 2 mixed mods, this definitely does fall under that kind of umbrella.
Yeah, so let's see who's going to be coming in for this first map. Right now we got Annapolis 7, Vox, and Joy over for Latvia. And Wadbot, aka Solaris, Uhi, and De Ex Machina, aka P, in for Canada.
I'm not sure what mods the Canadian players are going for I don't know if this is any. They don't have any of their primary hidden players out right now.
I assume probably TX gonna go hidden, maybe. But yeah, hard to say. I don't know between Fuhi and Solaris which would take Hard Rock.
I think they're both very strong at it, so I wouldn't be surprised at either one. But Fuhi actually being the hidden player for Canada, Joy taking hidden for Latvia, and Apple and Solaris being the Hard Rock players each, and Vox and Dea being the Nomad Rocks.
Joy's struggling a little bit on the hidden out of the gate. Everyone else doing alright so far.
Yeah, 3 full combos to 2 at the moment. All double S's on the side of Canada right now. Vox does find a break that brings it to just 1 full combo on the side of Latvia here. Canada still holding on strong to all 3 of their full combos.
Yeah, TX dropping a little bit of accuracy, keeping that combo up though. A decent length song, 3 minutes long. So there is time for Latvia to make a comeback, but they need to start holding on to some combo, and they are struggling a little bit on that right now.
Indeed they do. It is 145,000 points of advantage for Canada as Joy finds a couple more breaks here in this first Ki section. Fuhi finds the first break for Canada though. That is going to stem the bleeding just a little bit, but still just those 2 full combos on Canada. And Apple holding on to a full combo as well. Vox back above the 200 combo, but they need a little bit of help from Joy if they're going to want to cut into this lead.
Definitely, yeah, that's kind of hurting them the most right now. Bit of a struggle. I do think that they were hoping for Zeltusha to come in. I saw in chat they were asking about Zeltusha. Let's see if they can get into the lobby for the next map. Joy trying their best to hold it down in the meantime, though.
Yeah, it does look like all 3 full combos now broken on the side of Latvia. Canada still holding on to 2. Solaris holding on to the double S with Hard Rock right now. Really holding down that score lead as it stretches to just about 400,000 points.
Yeah, overall, just a very few small mistakes from Canada, so hard to go up against that. They're just cruising along towards the last quarter of the map.
We're hitting the last Ki here, and Apple drops just before it. None of the Latvian players above the 200. Fuhi just now getting back to it, so Canada getting full bonus from their combos right now, holding down that lead. It's going to have to take a lot for Canada to lose this at this point. Just need to kind of hold on and not take their hands off the keyboard, basically.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Approaching to where one of them even could, and it probably would still go their way.
Yeah, Fuhi does find another break at the end, but that looks like it's going to be 2 full combos for Canada there on the Hard Rock and Nomad. And that'll be an opening break point for Canada on Mixed Mod 1.
Yeah, about 815,000 score advantage. Definitely a good showing from the Canadian squad. Fuhi struggling a little bit. Getting 12 misses, but, you know, it's hidden. It happens.
Hidden is just a mod that does that to you sometimes.
Yeah, Latvia having a bit worse of a time on that, but I mentioned earlier, I think Zeltusha is one of their star players, so hopefully they'll get them in the lobby soon. Help turn things around.
Yeah, but it is Canada's pick, and they basically have a whole pool to choose from. I would probably guess a DT pick is coming out. Latvia seemed strongest on Nomad, but Hard Rock won, actually. Taking a look at that Hard Rock 2 ban from Latvia and deciding that if they're not feeling super comfortable on it, they can potentially take advantage of that.
Absolutely. There's also a Canadian mapper. Got Yoshi Green coming in. Actually, guest difficulty from Yoshi Green. And the main mapper also Canadian mapper as well. Still remember all those W's from a couple CBCUs ago?
Yeah, I do remember that. I'm glad I don't have to deal with it. Came in as a commentator at the right time, but got some trade outs. Looks like Joy actually has left the lobby potentially for Zeltusha. Yes, Zeltusha was able to make it. So the primary roster for Latvia is here now: Apple, Vox, and Zeltusha. And then on the Canadian side, we saw a couple swaps out: Solaris, Katsuragi, Dea, Ex Machina, looking like the team for Hard Rock 1 from Canada.
Yeah, about to hop into it now with Hard Rock 1. Hopefully that swap out for Zeltusha can make some difference. Looking at that last map, I think it might. It'll definitely make it a lot closer.
Some early drop witnesses from Vox. Also a miss coming out early on, but a good place to miss right at the beginning before the combo advantage starts taking hold of the teams, but that still is a 20,000 point advantage for Canada right out the gate.
Yeah, Vox are covering now. Will be that lead for Canada, though. Again, about a 3-minute, a little over 3-minute song. Zeltusha finding misses there. Time to recover, but you're going to need to start doing it.
Katsuragi does trade one of those misses back, though, so it's just 2 full combos for Canada. But Vox continuing to find some issues, either reading through this or just not having the precision needed for the smaller circle size coming with Hard Rock. Zeltusha finds another break as well, but an Apple holding down the fort a little bit, taking out one of the FCs from Canada, but they're going to need some help as they also find a break there. And that leaves it as 2 full combos to 0 in favor of Canada, with Katsuragi actually coming up to the 200 combo mark now.
Yeah, Katsuragi recovering, Canada looking real good. Latvia, I'd say starting to recover, and Apple finding another miss there. Zeltusha still on their way back to 200 combo. We're starting to run away again. Not as bad as the previous map, though.
This map, similar to the last map though, is quite on the long side, 3.5 minutes nearly. So there still is quite a bit of time, about 1.5 minutes left in this map. Lots of time to recover those combos on the side of Latvia. There are 2 players now above 200 combo, Vox having just found a break. But there is still time for Canada as well to find a few drops, and that's going to be the key for Latvia to come back in this.
Yeah, still just a little under half of the map left to go. But anything is still possible. Everybody above 200 combo now, so any misses will hurt.
There is one. Yeah, Zeltusha finding a break. Not going to help Latvia's chances. Vox finding a break as well. Katsuragi, after that first break, finding good form, not finding any breaks after that. So it looks like, well, now finding another drop, trades one of those misses from Latvia back, but still 2 full combos on the side of it. Canada helping bring them to a 300,000 point lead right now as we get to the final few patterns of this map.
Yeah, starting to look a bit bleak again for Latvia as we come into the end of the map. Not really much time for a comeback at this point. It does seem like Canada is going to go 2-0 on their first pick.
Taking advantage of that Hard Rock, the uncomfortable nature of the Hard Rock pick as far as Latvia is concerned led them to banning that Hard Rock 2. So with that, the Hard Rock pool has been used up. No more Hard Rock selections for Canada, so Latvia will probably be feeling pretty good about that, at least as far as Canada's future picks go. But it is their own selection coming up here, and they're definitely going to want to do whatever they can to take this so that momentum doesn't get too far in Canada's favor. But it's difficult to think about what you would select here in Latvia. I could definitely see Mixed Mod 2 being the selection. I think No Mod 1 would be an understandable pick from them.
No, Zeltusha didn't have the sounds. That makes more sense. I was surprised that Apple was outperforming Zeltusha there. There's a pretty massive rank difference between the two. Seems like Zeltusha was going in there with no sound, so that is not ideal. But hopefully they can get that fixed. They'll be good to go for the next map. The real question is, what is that map going to be? It is now Latvia's pick once again.
Nomad 2 comes out as the pick from Latvia there. So not going with any consistency, just looking at the technical pick here. Shorter, more prone to singular mistakes as far as this goes. Maybe it's hard to say whether I think this is the easiest map in the pool versus Nomad 1, just because that consistency does have something to say. It's certainly physically harder than Nomad 1. But to score on this you could certainly make an argument.
Absolutely, yeah. One of those kind of maps, that 2-minute 8-second length, where really it's easy to kind of slip up and throw a lead away. So, not seeing that third player from Canada. Oh, there we go.
Oh.
Client bugging out a little.
It looks like someone left the lobby. Yeah, one of the Canadian players left during the MP start command.
Alright, well, he's in here now.
Looks like things are looking better now. Fuhi in the lobby now. Full team for Canada and Latvia. No swap outs from Latvia, as maybe is expected. I'm not sure if that was a mistake, but as far as like the MP start command goes, but we're just waiting for ready ups. It looks like teams are locked in.
Yeah, I think just waiting on Zeltusha. Ready back up. Seems like their music volume is fixed. So definitely good to see that.
Got to fix up the technical issues going on, but I expect us to see a better performance from Zeltusha on this now that their volume is in the right spot.
Yeah, definitely helps to have music for your rhythm game.
Especially for a game like Catch the Beat that's so tactile, like it almost feels tactile, where the sounds themselves are what you're tracking. Because in like a game mode like Mania, it's extremely visual when you have to move, but the timing is so precise with Catch when you have to change directions and dash at certain points, and it's a lot more about patience and waiting than something like Mania is, where I find a lack of volume crippling in Catch the Beat, whereas it's not quite that bad in another game mode like Mania or Taiko.
Definitely, yeah. It's like people like to joke that Catch isn't a rhythm game because you don't actually click on the notes, but you need that timing, like you really do. So Zeltusha already doing a bit better. Fuhi gonna be the first one to drop.
We actually did see an earlier drop from Box Argente, but it was early enough that it didn't have quite as big an effect due to the combo, but that is another drop from them that gives Canada a slight lead coming out of this first KI. Another drop from Box Argente, but all things considered, much closer than the other two maps have been. Latvia doing a good job of keeping up with the Canadian roster. Fuki finding another drop. So despite it being 2 full combos to 1, Latvia is only about 2 drops away, 2 misses of difference away from Canada right now. Definitely still within reach, especially with the second guy coming up.
Yeah, 2 full combos. About as close as it has been this match. Zeltusha with that SS still looking marvelous with their volume turned up.
Just got this build up here. 2 double S's on the side of Canada, 1 on the side of Latvia. Really, it is just the difference between Box and Fuhi right now that's allowing Canada to take the lead. But Fuhi finds a break again, and that lead is shrinking very quickly, but Vox trades it back, and it's still just 2 full combos to 2. We're 2 players at that combo mark to 2 on each side as we're running out. Fuhi finds another drop, but Zeltusha trades it, and that might just be it. Extremely close. Good performance from Latvia, but it might just not be enough. Barely as Vox closes it out with another miss. Canada. Oh, Fuhi. Too little, too late. It looks like. Yeah. Very, very well played by Latvia. Just unfortunately, weren't able to keep themselves together. Just barely not enough. An FC from Zeltusha would have made that very close.
It would have been close, yeah. That miss from Fuhi dropped it down. I want to say that was about 15,000 was the closest gap, at least after the very beginning of the map, of course. Yeah, I think if Vox held on for a little bit longer and maybe that FC from Zeltusha, that could have been it. It was close.
Yeah, that was really close. But Canada squeaking one away, which that they maybe shouldn't have. But it is 2 break points now in favor of Canada, 3-0. It goes back to their own pick, and DT2 comes out. This is such an awkward map. It's in my opinion, the hardest DT map to score on. It's not necessarily the hardest one to play, but the rhythm requirement and the swing nature of it, paired with the precision required, additional precision with DT, makes this very hard to score on.
Yeah, I'm not surprised at the pick, though. This is the infamous Canadian DT2 pick. They somehow just have the wildest things happen on DT2 every year. It's their pick.
It looks like Joy is actually coming back in for this DT pick for the side of Latvia.
Yeah, interesting to see Joy coming back in.
Potentially just a point of discomfort for Vox on the DT side of things. So it looks like these might be our rosters. Solaris, Kalsaraki, and Dea for Canada, and Apple, Zeltusha, and Joy for Latvia, trying to do anything they can to get themselves back in this match. Need at least 2 break points to force a tiebreaker from Latvia, and they might have to start right now.
Definitely, yeah. Curious to see how Joy does on this. If giving Vox a bit of a break, or maybe just want to give Joy a bit more time in the match. This one, they are against quite a difficult opponent. Already down 3 points. Not a bad time to just get some extra practice in for your other players.
Yeah, we got 2 players taking the optional hidden to help with the high AR potentially. Katsuragi and Joy both opting for that, with Zeltusha and Apple, Solaris, and Dea keeping just the DT on.
Katsuragi finding that early miss. Joy finding a decent amount of their own. Now Apple as well.
Yeah, only 1 combo remaining on Latvia. 1 combo remaining on both teams. Zeltusha does find the drop though, so Deus Machina actually the last full combo remaining very early on in this map.
Yeah, this is a bit tough. I think this approach rate might be a little bit high for Joy to read. Or at least most players around their rank would struggle on this approach rate. Trying their best though, doing a decent effort, definitely a valiant effort.
Yeah, Katsuragi also finding a few struggles on the Canadian side. Deus Machina and Solaris both doing well. Zeltusha finding a drop just before that 200 combo mark, but an Apple holding on to a very strong combo.
Yeah, taking the lead from Zeltusha now to the team.
As we hit the halfway mark, we're seeing about a 300,000 point lead for Team Canada as Katsuragi and Joy both continue to have some issues. Solaris does find a miss as Zeltusha is building up to that 200 combo. Slight combo advantage for Latvia right now, but it does look like the consistent misses on the side of Choi and Katsuragi are potentially just favoring Canada in this scenario.
Yeah, I think unfortunately Solaris is going to be a bit more consistent than the Latvian members, so if you remove Joy and Katsuragi, it's still a tough battle.
Yeah, it looks like Zeltusha's starting to have some issues as well as an Apple. And Apple did find a drop earlier, but more consistent breaks are coming around. And still just holding on to the Signal FC on the side of Canada from KX Machina with a double S there from them. Holding on for the team, and Canada is going to bring it to match point.
Yeah, a nice 541,000 score advantage on that one. Honestly, and Apple had a really great performance. I think that's second place in the lobby. Yeah,
second best in the lobby. Very impressive score. And Zeltusha keeping up with at least Katsuragi, the difference maker, just not being able to keep, maybe just not having that third player comfortable enough with DT as a mod.
Yeah, and like I mentioned earlier, that is a really common issue for a lot of teams. It changes what mod it is. It looks like for Latvia, it might be double time. But yeah, it's a real killer. That's what can separate like podium finishes from not quite making it.
Yeah, but it is Latvia's pick. They had the pick of the litter for what they want to go for. A little bit tough. They were very close on Nomad 2. I think the best pick for them right now is Nomad 1.
I think so as well.
I could see Mixed Mod 2 coming out from them as well. I'm curious how Hidden would go, though. I think both of these teams are trying to avoid Hidden for the most part.
Yeah, it does seem like it. Which is semi-surprising for Canada. They do have some hidden players, but for whatever reason, not going for it. Fair enough.
Nomad 3 avoiding the consistency map once again, going with the low approach rate Nomad selection.
Actually, that makes sense now why they're avoiding hidden. Yeah, we got approach rate 9 and approach rate 8.3 for the hidden maps. The 9 is doable, the 8.3, that's going to be uncomfortable, even for Canada. May even favor the lower seeded teams that are more used to that low approach rate.
Yeah, I mean, even 9, despite being like not super low for Hidden, it can be quite difficult to read at that low AR and time everything, especially with the type of map that Hidden 1 is, where the spacing changes between the notes so commonly. But doesn't matter for right now. We've got Nomad 3 coming out. Like I said, the lower AR Nomad pick, AR 8.9, not super comfortable, but also don't have to deal with Hidden, so it does kind of give you a little bit of leeway with at least where you can keep your eyes without, just looking at a bunch of nothing.
Yeah, interesting pick. Oh yeah, it is this pick. Well, you get rid of converts entirely? No. Okay, we still do.
Nomad 4 is a there's one convert in the pool.
Alright, yeah.
But it was banned by Canada, so no, we're not playing it in this match.
Yeah, I'm trying to decide if I like Nomad 3 or Nomad 1 better for Latvia. The Nomad 1 is really great just in general for lower seeded teams because you would expect both teams can just FC all 3 players, so it can be just kind of coin flip luck. If like Canada made an unlucky miss, then you can kind of steal a point away from that. But Nomad 3 stat-wise, I think does look a bit better for Latvia.
Yeah, the biggest issue with Nomad 3, in my opinion, is that some of the patterns are quite difficult to time properly with the spacing that it has, because there'll be like small wiggles that you don't have to dash through, but at the end you'll have to end it on a dash because there's a difference in spacing there. And with low AR, that can be really hard to coordinate. And we immediately see 4 misses across the board, and now no full combos already.
We still got Solaris.
Oh, yes.
Hiding away in the top corner.
Yes. So Solaris the only FC, though. The Team Canada not having a great time. Vox finding a break, but Katsuragi an unlucky W, not able to find their footing, whereas Zeltusha and an Apple holding onto the combo right now, approaching 200. Zeltusha doesn't miss, but an Apple holding off Solaris, and it looks like the bottom two players for Latvia are holding on slightly better than Canada, though. A few misses back-to-back for Latvia, though. Katsuragi trades it. Solaris does find a drop, and Apple holding on to the only combo in the lobby now.
Yeah, Apple really holding it down for Latvia. They're holding that lead and growing it for the first time this match. We'll miss from Zeltusha, gonna hurt.
It was traded back by Katsuragi, though. Unlucky W building up that combo, but does miss just before 200 combos, so it's similar situation. Solaris trying to get back to 200 now as well, but an Apple already having taken advantage of that miss, and Katsuragi and Unlucky W continuing to find breaks as Zeltusha now finds some footing and builds up just below 200 combo for the time being and holds on to the lead for Latvia.
Yeah, we only got a quarter of the map left to go now. Fox is going to find a miss. Katsuragi doesn't have much combo, though.
Ooh, big miss from Vox there. This lead is shrinking so much. Unlucky does trade one of those misses back. Katsuragi trades another one. And Zeltusha and Apple both at that 200 combo mark, fending off Solaris and more. But it's still so close. Zeltusha finds a break, and the lead's only 12,000. As we're hitting the final few patterns.
Might be a photo finish here.
It's so close, but Latvia, they hold on and take a point from Canada. What a performance.
That was incredible, especially from an Apple there.
Apple's crazy.
I think lobby MVP against Canada is insane.
That's impressive. I think it was just that one set of misses like right away for an Apple, and that was the only time that they dropped.
like that coming from Katsuragi. Don't play 30 minutes before waking up, so
I think it's
he's so tired. He did it the other way around.
It's kind of difficult to play while you're still asleep. It's pretty impressive.
The hidden talent that can play at any time.
True. It looks like there's some discord going on in the Latvian team. An Apple may have just. I heard that an Apple made an agreement that if they won a point, they would play anime music quiz. So an Apple MVPing just solidified their fate.
Well, if they're any good at anime trivia as they are on that last map, I think they'll do pretty well.
I'm sure they will, but Canada doesn't have the selection. They still have at least 2 picks before any major issues start coming around, but they have the pick of the litter. Both hidden picks are available. 2 more DT picks are still there. I don't think that No Mod 1's coming out from Canada, but DT3 is coming out.
That makes sense. Yeah, I was gonna say No Mod 1 is a bit risky. Mix Mod 2 even could be a bit risky. So Full Time 3 definitely makes sense here.
But Latvia is still on their last legs. They've survived 1 more point after that match point came up for Canada, but they're going to have to pull off a huge performance here if they want to take a double time pick away from Canada.
This is the shortest map in the match. A minute and 55 with double time applied.
Yeah, but on top of that, it's also one of the, I think it has the highest speed requirement out of anything else in this pool. It's got some pretty high density and a relatively high approach rate. I think it's about 9.8 with DP added.
Yeah.
So the high density coupled with that AR can make it very difficult to read, especially for the lower seeded teams.
Yeah, it's gonna be 234 BPM, gonna be fairly dense. So I agree. Yeah, AR 9.8 just in general it can be hard to read if you're not like a higher ranked player that plays a lot of that stuff. I'd say once you start getting above about 9.6, 9.7, that's where it becomes like a real struggle to learn. Not quite 10 yet, though. That's a whole different beast. I can't do 10 myself.
Yeah, AR10 is pretty rough. DT makes it a little easier because of the faster movement, but it's still not the easiest. But already early on, we're seeing Vox have some trouble. We did see a miss from Fuhi right out the gate as well, and it looks like Zeltusha traded one of those back. But an Apple holding onto the full combo alongside Dex, Machina, and Solaris. Zeltusha hits the 200 combo. It looks like it's just Vox having a little bit of trouble keeping up with this DPT selection.
Quite a score lead growing for Canada so far, above 200,000. They were holding strong. You know, Vox struggling a little bit. Zeltusha as well, trying to get back up to combo.
Texas Machina does find a break there. Second break for the side of Canada, so 1 FC remaining to the 0 on Latvia, but there are 2 players looking at that 200 combo mark as Fuhi does find a break. So there's a chance for them to start cutting into this lead. Still only halfway through, though that does mean there's only about 40 seconds left of this map before it finishes up. And with the recovery that's coming from Canada, it's looking difficult for Latvia to be able to make a break in here.
Yeah, quarter of the map left to go. Unlucky miss there for Vox.
Indeed, just the final few patterns here, and it's looking like Canada's going to be able to lock this in. Not too many nodes remaining here, despite a little bit more length left, but that looks like it's going to be it in Canada. Despite dropping the 1 point to Latvia, will take this match and move on in the winner's bracket.
Yeah, I gotta say, you know, you look at the scoreline, it's 5-1. First question is, how did Latvia take a point from Canada? After that, you're like, wow, that was kind of a stomp. But honestly, I think Latvia did really well, especially Ann Apple. I was really impressed with Ann Apple's performance. So I'm excited to see what they can do going up against some lower-seeded teams. They kind of got a bit unlucky with going up against Seed 4 right off the bat, but I think they have definitely some chances here in the lower bracket.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, not just the 1 point that they got. We mentioned like Nomad 2 was maybe 1.5 breaks away from Latvia also taking that point. So very impressive performance from them. They are not eliminated from the tournament. They will just move down into the losers bracket, with Canada taking the victory and moving on in the winners bracket for round of 16.
Yeah, congrats again to Canada for winning that match. Up next, it's going to be United Kingdom versus Mexico, and that's going to be at 19 UTC. That is just under an hour and a half from now. So that will be, I believe, the end of the stream for right now, and then we'll be back in about an hour and a half for the final match of the day. So definitely be there. Do not miss it. Till then, it's been Snow Leopard here with Toph Daddy. Thank you all, and we'll see you in an hour and a half.